r/atheism. Porter Deperdra says, a Christian coworker said that I have depression because I don't have faith nor do I believe in God. I'm not mad at her. I just wanted to share and understand why some people say that sort of thing. Have you been in a similar experience? Sherbet Sherpa says, it's a kind of cognitive dissonance. It's actually her own faith being challenged by the presence of the unfortunate. Porter Deperdra says, is it also because she can't accept that atheists don't need deities in order to be good people? Sherbet Sherpa says, possibly, but that's a different mental gymnastics. Prompt_skeptic69 says, this would imply no Christians suffer from depression. False. Another silly claim. Cosmoniad says, sure, it only means they aren't believing hard enough/s. Bunktavius says, no, but Christians who happen to not be depressed are all taught that the only reason they aren't depressed is God. If you love God and are somehow still depressed, well, then the devil must be at work. See logic/s. Bird in Flight 301 says, a supposed friend told me I got cancer because I don't believe in Jesus. Like Christians don't ever get sick. I just laughed at her. She will find her own way or she won't. It's not up to me. Aegis says, if you believe that, then you believe your God is a petty conch. Rubinus3 says, how does that even work? Hey, Jesus. Some guy down there doesn't believe in you. I'll just give him cancer. That'll fix it. Itself says, yeah, that's a big fat ML 2 hours, if I've ever seen one, yikes. Root Farmer says, first lesson, stop sharing info with this person. Second, there's good treatments out there, even if all you have access to is self-help. I hope you find relief from your symptoms. There are some good resources out there. I'd recommend Feeling Good by Drive. Burns. It's what a cognitive therapist would teach you. Sir Ed Calotte says, put yourself in her shoes. The knowledge that there's an omnipotent deity who you know without any doubt loves you and wants you to do well is like an emotional warm blanket to wrap around yourself. Whatever's wrong is God giving you a challenge to overcome. It'll all be better because that's God's plan. So you need not worry about your future because God has your best interests at heart and he's gonna do right by you. And no matter how badly you frick things up, God will forgive you. You need only ask for forgiveness. If you can convince yourself of that, it's a pretty comforting belief. And it's how a lot of ministry works. Find people who are unsure of their place in life, unsure of their future, have concerns for the future, and get them to adopt this belief system. Wow, no more need to worry about everything, because God's in charge and it's all gonna work out. So for someone who's lost in life, it can offer a lot of comfort. Adopting it though requires basically accepting the thought process into your brain as an admin override without challenging the truth of the beliefs. If you start asking for proof that God exists, you'll get a lot of answers but none provide any sort of real scientific proof of anything. Look at that beautiful sunrise, that's God's work. That sort of thing. So, because her religious beliefs are effective at staving off a lot of bad feelings, she blames your bad feelings on lack of. Black08 Mustang says. And it's how a lot of ministry works. Find people who are unsure of their place in life, unsure of their future, have concerns for the future, and get them to adopt this belief system. Wow, no more need to worry about everything, because God's in charge and it's all gonna work out. So for someone who's lost in life, it can offer a lot of comfort. Sounds like grooming. r/atheism. Hicksford says. War on Christmas PT2, Battlefield Update. The North Pole is so cold I can feel the frost forming on my bones. The Mormons have cut off our supply line of rations. Fortunately, we have 9 reindeer that should get us through the week. They are particularly delicious with mustard cream sauce. We ate the one with the red nose first, as it was giving away our position. It must have been some Nazi genetic experiment. Our urban assault team has taken several shopping malls across the continent to Amazon distribution centers and removed all non-secular signage by means of plastic explosive. If we have enough ordnance remaining, we plan to eliminate Chick-fil-A headquarters. The 102nd Fox News division has been littering the battlefield with Jack Chick gospel tracts and Discovery Institute propaganda. We are weary, but will continue to fight. Let no man say that we tolerated nativity scenes on public property. Heathen 1, out. 50s dad says. Checking in from weather control. The satellite is working perfectly. Storm of a generation blanketing most of the United States. Flights being cancelled by the thousands. Surely they will assume God doesn't want them traveling home for happy holidays. Dramatic_explorer_51 says. Back on the home front, I wish someone a Merry Chris Horny Kwan's Yule. r/atheism. Financial_pool_9273 says. Thoughts on religious schools. I personally believe they shouldn't exist. Education should be about critical thinking and evidence-based thinking, not blind faith and religious ideology. My Christian school, that I went to for a year quite some time ago, had sexist dress codes, a homophobic fundamentalist church on campus, that students were often encouraged to join outside of school hours. The head pastor of that church was teaching chapel class and was being financially supported by the school. What are your thoughts on religious schools? Should they exist in your opinion? Angelsberg says. Worst idea ever. The worst are Christian fundamentalist institutions. I strongly believe that children should be banned from churches. If we do not allow children at casinos, bars, or strip clubs, because they might develop behaviors that are harmful to themselves and society as a whole, then YTF do we teach them things from a book that okays incest, rape, cannibalism, the slaughter of babies, justifies slavery and commands women to be silent and obedient to their husbands, owners practically? Flying Squid says. All it does is give religious pedophiles access to kids with little to no accountability. There are pedophiles teaching in public school, but their behavior is usually not swept under the rug. Fluttershy83 says. Religious schools are just a loophole cults use to get around the law and force their nonsense onto children. Vampire_and_sunlight says. A place that stops children from using their own brain. Acton off Mam says. In an ideal world? No. In the world we have, is there any ethical, moral, or legal way that we as outsiders can make them stop? Also no. This falls under the general heading of rescuing children from their parents. Horribly difficult to do, even in clear cases like physical abuse with broken bones. When the adults in their lives are not physically abusing them, only being credulous and generally mean, it goes from difficult to impossible. I'd quit a Calblub says. I don't think they're too bad. Yeah, being forced in one isn't really the move, but there are a lot of people who are glad to go to one. My sister went to one, she chose it, and it was a all-girls private school. And yeah, they were a little strict, but a lot of those girls were really happy and glad to be there. Dostia says. No, but a tiny bit of me also says yes. No, they should not exist, for they all too often place religious study ahead of subjects that people and society need. Want to learn about religion, go to Sunday school. But they also seem to turn out a lot of atheists, so. Witch Queen says. My thoughts on religious schools would entail using language that is not acceptable on this forum. r/atheism. East Donut 1183 says. After contemplating religion, I've come to a complete realization. I'm a 15-year-old girl so I apologize for the lack of maturity, although I have been reassured that I'm perfectly mature for my age. I made a post on this a while ago, but I want to elaborate. I lived in a very strict Catholic household, but to hell with their ideals. I've come to a complete realization that my life has no objective meaning. I believe there is no God to call on for help. There were, and still are, times where I was in pain, unimaginable physical and mental agony, and no magic man came to help me. Even when I cried on my knees, I was treated like a mere gust of the wind. My thoughts and cries were wiped away like nothing. The real people who helped me were my friends, people who cared about me. I believe that your life is a blank canvas, your parents give it you, and you are the one that creates its artistic beauty. And once it's finished, it's hung up on the wall for a few years, and then the paint fades away, because the people who inherited that painting don't know where it came from. The reality is, we are born, we live, we die, we are remembered, and then we are forgotten. I've always believed in being a good person who shines a bit of light on everyone's lives. My thoughts on this subject intensified when my 14-year-old best friend died of a suspected drug overdose. It has encouraged me to take more risks in life, and part of me wants to live the life my friend Wold wanted to live. When I die, my chemical energy will return to what I was billions of years ago. I want to do the best I can in life, and death won't scare me, because there was time where I didn't exist before. If I recall, I don't remember caring much. I cannot live my life thinking I will have another chance. I don't think I will. Life is a gift I will likely never experience again. I will cherish it. I'm afraid of suffering more than anything. If my limbs were cut off fresh, or if I were freezing and burning with no chance to save me, please let me die. There are people and things I live for, and a majestic God is not one of them. It comforts me that, when I'm gone, I'll be going to the same place my best friend is. I imagine life on Earth is just an experience, the universe is moving on, and if you're lucky, you'll get picked up for the ride. Here's what I think happens after death. There is life after death. The world and all who live on it will continue to thrive, just without me. The difference is small, you see. Whether I die young or old, as long as I was happy beforehand, that's all that. No Personality 7444 says, we should all learn to celebrate our existence, rather than caring about some egomaniacal god. Iastrian says, you write well, and should continue to develop it. You have a voice. I agree with your conclusions. X3Y52 says, I've come to a complete realization that my life has no objective meaning. And this not a bad thing at all. Sulfur 250 says, a bit of a rambling, but I get it. Good luck on your journey, friend. Lucky_Solomedic says, I very much like the way you have expressed these ideas. It isn't a creative writing class here. Welcome to reality. I hope you enjoy the ride. Virgil Reality says, this is the life that we need to work on improving, instead of waiting for the next one for our award. Even if someone is religious, it still makes sense to improve this life. Diver13 says, I hope you are doing well. Sometimes it gets a bit more difficult in the holidays, as we know as truth that what makes delusional people happy these days is a blatantly ridiculous lie. Stay strong, stay godless, and keep shining your brightness everywhere you go. Good luck. Chickensnatter Vegetable says, your happiness is just a chemical. Darren Hanlon, be excellent to each other. Bill Ted. Not much more needed, emo. Aggressive_C_2380 says, there's a lot of contradictions in your sentences, but yeah, I get what you mean. Jealous_decision_736 says, HMM. From one extreme to the other. I wonder why. That's all for this video. Was it good? I know not, for I'm a robot. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe. This video is the product of an automated process.